Hey guys, this is Princess here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the LDs and bursts coming this month. So first we're going to be starting off with Ramza. So for his LD, it is called the Ice brand because we don't have enough of those. So this will grant him the skill called Iaido Winter Storm. It's a 4-hit AoE melee brave HP attack delivered twice. It deals split damage but will deal more damage on single targets. It has a 120% max brave overflow, raises party brave based on HP damage dealt after the last attack, and it will even launch the target. It grants him 1 level of Shout and 1 level of Pep for 8 turns, and it grants him the Sunset Leaf Flute effect for 8 turns. And what Sunset Leaf Flute does, over here on the bottom, it raises the party's initial brave and the party's gain brave overflow, and also restores party brave based on initial brave. Moving on to the LD passives, at 1 out of 3 you get Iaido Winter Storm power, so this will raise brave damage dealt with his LD. At 2 out of 3 you get Sunset Leaf Flute Long, which extends the effect by 8 turns, so he will have 16 turns in total. And then at 3 out of 3, you have Iaido Winter Storm Charge, which will add another use to his LD. And each time you limit break this, it will raise his initial brave and his attack. Next up, we have his burst weapon called the Excalibur, and this will grant him the finishing burst Ultima. It's a 15-hit AoE melee brave HP attack. It deals full damage, but will deal more damage on single targets. The burst effect is 5 turns and is party-wide, and the effect will increase based on the party's total buffs. So it raises initial brave, max brave, and attack per buff, and it also raises max brave damage limit per buff. Keep in mind though that similar burst effects don't stack. So these are the banners that will be featuring Ramza's LD and burst, but keep in mind here, so the banner over here on the bottom features his LD, and then this banner on the top features Machina's LD. So this is also the point where older LDs make a comeback, so if you're missing out on one of these, or missing out on one of them, then you can try and pull for it. Alright, so for the other banners, Ramza's burst will be featured on Caius's Lost Chapter banner, and then the last banner it will be on will be for Guy's banner. So the next character to get her LD, or rather her burst, I should say, because her LD came out before, is going to be Ultimecia. So her LD is called the Ephemer Arm. Yes, I will still go over it though in case anyone missed out on it. So the Ephemer Arm will grant her the skill Shockwave Pulsar. It's an 8-hit Magic Brave HP attack that deals split damage, but will deal more damage on single targets. It has a 200% Max Brave Overflow and will grant 5 levels of Maleficium, and it also grants Sorceress's Intervention for 6 turns. And what Sorceress's Intervention does is it restores Brave and it raises Max Brave Overflow limit. So moving on to the LD passives, at 1 out of 3 you get Shockwave Pulsar Power, which will raise brave damage for her LD. At 2 out of 3 you get Sorceress's Intervention Longer, which will extend the LD buff for 4 turns. And then at 3 out of 3 you will get Shockwave Pulsar Charge, which adds another use to her LD, and each time you limit break this, it will raise her max brave and her attack. Finally, we have her burst weapon called the Wool Arm, and this will grant her the finishing burst called Sorceress Heart. It's a 15-hit AoE Magic Brave HP attack that will deal full damage, but it does deal more damage on single targets. As for her burst effect, it is 3 turns and it is for herself. Each time she uses her skills while her burst effect is active, she will delete the target's next turn, so she kind of functions like a Metatelian. Keep in mind though, it's only once per turn and chase attacks will be excluded. So this is the banner that will feature her burst and also has her LD returning. It will be on a Heretics event, and along with that, there will be another banner which features Penelo's LD. So if you want to go for either one of these, if you've already got Ultimecia's LD, then it's fine. You can just go for Penelo's LD too. So for the next couple of banners, Ultimecia's burst will actually appear on 3 more banners. So the first one is going to be on Jack's Lost Chapter banner. And then the last 2 banners that will feature her burst will be on a Boss Rush banner, and this will also feature LDs for Kryl and for Hope. So now I'm going to head over to Opera Omnia JP to showcase Ramza and Ultimecia skills. Okay, we're back in Opera Omnia JP, and unfortunately my Ramza does not have his LD or his burst on him. I tried to get it and I never did, so that's why I'm going to be borrowing a friend. By the way, go check out Simply Lost if you haven't already. And then I have my Ultimecia over here, so just to show, right over here is her LD. Alright, so we're going to demonstrate with Ultimecia's LD first. And that's what it looks like. So now I'm going to swap over to, now we're going to do Ramza's LD. So right off the bat, he gets 16 turns for his special effect, and then he instantly launches the target as well. And what's cool about Ultimecia's LD is that right now you can see she's got 5 stacks of Maleficium, so now you can just go ahead and use the plus variants for her skills. Alright, so now we're going to finish this with the burst. Okay, and then for the big question, so should you pull for Ramza and Ultimecia? Well, for Ramza, his LD grants Shout and Pep already, so you don't have to waste turns setting up the buffs or to use the skills. His LD delays the target, it grants the Party Brave, and it launches the enemies, and his effect will raise Party Brave. And as for his burst, his burst effect raises the party stats based on the active buffs. And then as for Ultimecia, should you pull for her? Well, her LD puts her at 5 stacks already. Her LD buff grants her Brave Regen and raises Overflow limit, and her burst effect deletes the target's next turn. So if you think that they are going to help you out in the future, then yes, I think you should pull for them. So that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. And again, if you haven't already, subscribe to Simply Lost if you haven't.